Halloween used to be my favorite night of the year until last year. You know that kind of excitement you feel when October rolls around? The pumpkins, the fake cobwebs, the smell of caramel and cold air? Yeah, that was me. I'd start planning my costume weeks in advance, begging my mom for just one more bag of candy, just one more string of orange lights for the porch. Halloween wasn't just a holiday, it was my thing, but last year, everything changed. It was a crisp evening, just cold enough for a hoodie under my costume. The sky was that deep blue that looks like ink spilled across paper, and the air smelled like leaves and faint smoke from someone's fire pit. I remember thinking it was perfect, exactly the kind of Halloween I loved. I was 16, old enough to be too cool for trick-or-treating, but I didn't care. My little cousin Carlos was only 9, and he'd beg me to go with him. His parents trusted me, and honestly, I liked spending time with the kid. He was goofy, full of questions, and he still believed every decoration might come alive. We hit our neighborhood first rows of houses, glowing with orange lights, skeletons hanging from trees, fake fog curling around our ankles. Carlos ran ahead, his plastic pumpkin bucket bouncing at his side, shouting "trick or treat" at every door like it was his job. By the time we crossed Maple Street, our bags were half full. We could have gone home right then, but Carlos spotted a cul-de-sac up the hill where the houses were bigger. The kind of houses that gave out full-size candy bars. "Let's go there," he said, already climbing the hill. I followed, a little out of breath, laughing. The street was darker up there, fewer decorations, fewer kids. The air felt heavier too, like the sound was being swallowed. Even our footsteps seemed quieter. There was one house at the end of the cul-de-sac that stood out. No lights, no pumpkins, just a single flickering porch bulb. Carlos hesitated. "Maybe they're not home," he said. I shrugged. Only one way to find out. We walked up the driveway, our shoes crunching on gravel. The porch creaked as we stepped onto it. The door was slightly ajar, just enough to see a sliver of darkness inside. Carlos looked up at me. "Should we knock?" Before I could answer, the porch light went out. Everything went pitch black. Carlos gasped. And he said, "If lights are off, it means no candy." "Yeah," I whispered. But before I could finish, the door creaked open. A man stood there in a scream mask white face, long black robes, the classic look. I almost laughed. It felt like someone really leaned into the Halloween spirit. Then he spoke. His voice was low and muffled. "Want more candy?" He held out a bowl filled with chocolate bars. The good kind. Snickers, Twix, Cat's All full size. Carlos took a step forward before I could stop him. "Wait," I said, reaching for his arm, but the man moved too fast. He grabbed Carlos by the wrist and yanked him toward the door. Carlos screamed. I didn't think. I just reacted. I swung the candy bag and hit the man in the face with it, hard. The sound of candy smacking against plastic echoed. He stumbled back, releasing Carlos. "Run!" I shouted. We bolted down the driveway, candy spilling everywhere. I didn't even look back until we were halfway down the street. The porch light flickered back on. The door was closed. I could still hear Carlos sobbing, clutching my arm. "It's okay," I said, trying to sound calm even though my heart was pounding. He was just a creep playing a prank. But deep down, something didn't feel right. That grip, the way he moved. The silence from the house. We hurried home, and I tried to laugh it off for Carlos's sake. My aunt hugged him tight, fussing over his scratches, while I told her some guy in a costume got too rough. She called the police, but honestly, I doubted they'd find anyone. And they didn't. Later that night, when Carlos was asleep and my aunt was still on the phone, I went outside to get some air. The streets were quiet now, just candy wrappers blowing across the pavement. The distant sound of someone's Halloween playlist fading into static. Then I heard it. A faint knock. At first, I thought it was the wind. But it came again, 3 slow knocks. I turned toward the front door. The people showed nothing but darkness. I opened the curtain just a little. Nothing. And then I saw it. The scream mask lying on the porch. Just the mask. No person. My stomach twisted. Maybe some kid dropped it, I thought. Maybe the guy from earlier realized he went too far and left it here as a weird apology. But the way it sat perfectly centered, staring up, it didn't feel random. I locked the door, double-checked the windows, and went to bed, but sleep didn't come easy. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that mask, the hollow eyes, the open mouth, the way he whispered, "Want more candy?" I don't know when I drifted off, but sometime after midnight I woke up to a sound, a faint creak. The bathroom door. At first I thought maybe it was my aunt. But then I heard another sound, a soft thump, like something falling. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and crept toward the bathroom. The door was half open. The window above the tub was wide open, the curtain fluttering in the cold air. And on the sink was the mask. The same mask. Wet. Dripping. I froze. My throat felt dry, like I couldn't even breathe. Before I could move, something grabbed me from behind, an arm around my neck, cold and strong. A knife pressed against my throat. I couldn't see his face, but I could smell him, metal, sweat, and something rotten. He whispered, "You're already dead." I screamed and kicked, twisting free just long enough to slam the door. The sound of footsteps followed, quick and heavy, then silence. I waited, heart hammering. I didn't dare open the door. When the police came, they found nothing. The window was still open, and the mask was gone. But the weirdest part? The house where it happened, the one with the porch light, was reported vacant. It had been empty for months. I didn't sleep much after that. For weeks, I'd wake up to the slightest noise, imagining him standing in the corner. My mom said it was trauma, that my brain was filling in blanks because of fear. But sometimes, late at night, I swear I hear knocking again. Always 3 slow taps. I've stopped opening the door. I tell myself it's wind, or a stray cat, or a trick of memory. But then I'll see it again in my dreams, the scream mask, lying on the bathroom sink, dripping water. And sometimes when I'm brushing my teeth, I'll catch a glimpse of it behind me in the mirror, just for a second, then it's gone. People ask me why I don't celebrate Halloween anymore. Why I don't put up decorations, or why I keep my porch light off. I tell them I outgrew it. But that's a lie. The truth is, every time I see a kid in a mask, every time I hear the word trick or treat, my stomach knots. I think of that house, that porch light, that grip on Carlos's arm. And I remember the whisper, right against my ear, "You're already dead." Sometimes I wonder if he meant it literally. Because ever since that night, I haven't felt like the same person. I still walk the same streets, but they feel different now. Quieter. Heavier. Like the whole world's holding its breath. And sometimes, just as the wind picks up, I'll hear something faint, 3 slow knocks, and I freeze. Because I know he's still out there, waiting for the next door to open.